Today, marking 2 years since the horrific mass shooting in Uvalde, it's impossible to forget that scene outside of Robb Elementary School. Hundreds of officers arriving outside of the school, staging in the hallway, but it took them over an hour to finally enter the classroom and take down the gunman. The Department of Justice says Texas law enforcement failed the children of Uvalde on that tragic day.
21 people were gunned down, including 19 students, all of them between the ages of 9 and 11 years old. 2 of their teachers also killed just days before the last day of school.
And today, the Uvalde community will gather to honor those lives lost. Our Crystal Dominguez joins us with those details. Crystal, good morning.
And in the wake of the Uvalde shooting, Texans flooded the small town with support. Now, artists are teaming up to paint 21 murals honoring each life lost inside Robb Elementary. Go ahead and take a look at one right here, created for one of the teachers, Eva Morales.
Tomorrow will mark 1 week since 8 people were shot and killed at the Allen Premium Outlets. For the last week, a memorial has been growing at the mall honoring those who died. That's where we find our Michael Lozano. Michael, good morning. To talk more about security and police response that day, let's bring in Mark Herrera, a security expert. Mark, good morning to you.
And this morning, Texans all along the coast are bracing for possible flooding as a potential tropical storm makes its way into Texas.
Let's go ahead and give you a live look right now outside in Galveston. I am expecting still some heavy rainfall to continue for not just the coastline, but also for areas. I will tell you that the coast is going to be hit the hardest by all of this rain and the impacts from this tropical system. I want to bring in my colleague, of course, Crystal Dominguez, who is tracking the very latest. Crystal, you see radar, you're familiar with that site. What are you thinking folks right now along the coast should be doing?
Well, this morning, Florida still getting battered by Ian. Despite being downgraded to a tropical storm this morning, Ian made landfall Wednesday as a Category 4 hurricane, leaving more than 2 million people in Florida without power. It's already the 4th strongest hurricane to hit the U.S. based on wind speed, and likely the strongest Florida has ever seen.
Meantime, emergency crews from Texas are now heading to Florida. Task Force 1 and the Red Cross in North Texas are on the way, and the Salvation Army in Central Texas is already on standby. And power companies from Texas like Encore and CPS are also sending crews to help restore the power. Our Dylan Scott got an inside look at how they're helping out.
In total, 35 Texas counties now qualify for disaster aid after being hit by flash flooding, damaging hail, and in some cases, deadly tornadoes.
And over in Valley View, Texans are still picking up the pieces after a powerful tornado ripped through the area just weeks ago.
Our Nick Bradshaw shares the story of a family who lost everything and their path toward recovery.
Padre Island and other beaches along the Gulf Coast have closed due to the possibility of flooding and rip currents. The National Weather Service is predicting wave heights of up to 12 feet. And meteorologist Dan Robinson has been tracking the storm since it developed in the tropic. Dan, where is the storm headed next?
Well, it's heading out back over the Atlantic Ocean, and then will make landfall on the central Atlantic coast probably in about 72 hours or so.
And as of last night, the fire is about 20% contained. Let's go ahead and bring in meteorologist Ricky Cody now to talk more about fire conditions across the state and if there is any rain or help in the forecast.
You know, we joke a lot about the heat, but the reality is that this is the worst part, the lack of rain and the ongoing drought. Let me show you what we have right now. There are currently 66 active wildfires across the Lone Star State, and or rather 62. Last time you and I spoke at the end of last week, there were 66. 4 of them have been contained, so now we're down.
Tonight is the night. Your Dallas Mavericks back at the AAC for Game 3 of the NBA Finals in front of the home crowd.
Yes, thanks for joining us here on Spectrum News 1. And ahead of all the NBA Finals excitement, our very own Brett Shipp joining us from the AAC this morning. Brett, good morning. What's going on out there?
Texas.
I wanna hold them like they do in Texas, please.
There's a yellow rose in Texas.
This ain't Texas.
Yep, from country classics to today's hits, Texas is the third most sung about state in the entire U.S. Third, not first.